Thank you, Kevin. I'm Kelly DeVore, chair of the Interior Design Department.
Hi, I'm Elaine Grogan, Luttrell. We met yesterday. Lovely to see you again. And I was involved in Kelly and Joel's project in a sort of plus B type of capacity, like we discussed yesterday. And we're so excited to share a bit of the collaboration and some of the results with you today.
So just quickly, in January of this year, one of our deans, Tom Gaddis, proposed the challenge to us. Hey, connect all 9 majors, convince an iconic brand, Airstream, that we could build a trailer, re-envision their brand for a younger, maybe less retired audience, and do that in 16 weeks. Oh, also build a full-size trailer on top of that, right? So there were a lot of words that came to mind when that came up. Fear. So we needed to really embrace the fear that became that project of trying to all collaborate together and work through this big project. They say fail often, fail fast, and we needed to do that and move forward. So we all survived, so we'll skip to the end. We just wanted to briefly talk about kind of some of the projects that evolved from this project. A number of teaching methods were used, a number of class types were developed, full-scale 16-week courses like my own, but also 2-week projects, projects that picked up again later in the semester. So to begin with, the trailer. Some of you might have seen it yesterday on the progressive reception. The trailer itself, I co-taught with Joel Gonlock, our furniture design professor. Our students worked in a very interdisciplinary way to develop what the future of the Airstream trailer could look like. They researched, interviewed, prototyped, made a full-scale model of the trailer to feel the size and constraints of that small space. They quickly narrowed into this idea of a live-work model. So if you're trying to appeal to a younger audience, they need to still be working. But then also it was about this lifestyle that somebody like an artist or a designer could be living on the road and working at the same time. So they came up with personas, interviewed real designers who do this kind of out of the backseat of their car anyway. But we also needed to prove, could that really happen? That's where Elaine came in.
As I mentioned, I teach the class called Money Matters for Artists and Designers, and as part of that class, we're already doing financial analysis on existing companies. We're already building budgets that are relevant in an art and design context. So when we sat down with Kelly's team and the project manager, they said, could you just change all of those assignments and do them for Airstream instead? And I said, sure, why not? That's easy, right? So that's exactly what we did. We had our students performing financial analysis on Airstream, the company, and then we had a smaller subgroup of students preparing a budget for this nomadic freelancer, the person who would purchase an Airstream in his or her 20s and maybe live and work in it for a few years as this nomadic freelancer. So my team, led by Gianfranco Di Pietro, who was a junior fashion designer at the time, put together this budget for someone who would be living this nomadic lifestyle. And as you can see, the numbers are pretty impressive. Then they put together a comparable budget for the exact same hypothetical person as though she was living in Boulder, Colorado, and doing the same type of work, but not in an Airstream. And the results were more favorable for her living in the Airstream, as you can imagine. They also computed that she could pay off her investment in the Airstream after about a 5-year period. So my student Gianfranco stood exactly where we are standing today at this podium, presenting these and other metrics to the leadership team of Airstream, who was sitting in the front row of this auditorium. And to say he was nervous and also did a fantastic job is an understatement, because the team sat forward and they said, wow, the design is unbelievable. This is an incredible thing, and it might be a feasible business product too. So they started taking more copious notes and realizing that our team of artists and designers could answer many, many more questions than simply design questions. And they could put together something that was really feasible and compelling from a commercial standpoint as well. So here are the final results of the project.
So talk about proof of concept. The Airstream R&D team is now pushing forward this new idea of this live work dedicated workspace as a part of their new line of trailers. So quickly, I'll just run through all of the other projects that were going on as well. While we were building trailers and working with Elaine's team, there was also an advertising and graphic design component that was re-envisioning how we could market to this younger audience. They came up with a whole branding campaign around this new idea of our trailer, but then named it the pursuit of happiness, pursuit of this new lifestyle. The illustration department was coming up with poster design concepts, textiles, repeat patterns that they shared with the fashion design department. Fashion design department had a smaller project that they worked on, some sportswear lines that would appeal to a younger audience. Also doing some textiles and working with our team to develop some of the staging that we did in the trailer itself. The animation department came up with a cool cartoon based on the founder, Wally Byam, and how he travels around the world to send out around social media. You can see that online. And the photography and cinematic arts team were documenting the thing. And finally, when it was all said and done, we did a photo shoot. The photography team and the graphic design team worked on that over the summer. So that is a lot of work. And from those outcomes, we could say that this project was successful, but it wasn't just the tangible outcome of the project. It was embracing this risk and allowing the kind of messy, kind of crazy coordination that needed to happen behind the scenes go on, that our students could feel and our faculty could feel. They engaged, like Elaine was saying, directly with real clients. They had real timelines, and we needed to have them experience that directly in order to feel it. But there were also huge collaborative lessons, not just for our students, but for our faculty. I think we so often ask our students to, why don't you go collaborate? And seldom do we think about collaborating ourselves, or we get scared and protective over our courses. So how do we allow ourselves to kind of shed that ego and collaborate together? And the feedback has been fantastic, from high school students that we're showing the trailer off to the client. It's been really a great experience.
So what did we learn in all of this? To say we learned a lot is quite a bit of an understatement. We learned that we needed to have a really good plan in place that we knew was going to change. It helped to have regular meetings on a weekly basis with all the interested parties around campus, because all of those people could come together and figure out where the budget process was and where the design process was, and how could we be helpful together, and what delays were we encountering. And all of these sort of project management tools became pretty important to keeping the lines of communication open among all these different groups. We also learned that it was incredibly important to stay flexible and to manage expectations in all of this. We wanted to make sure that our students had expectations about how messy the process was going to be. We wanted to make sure our faculty had the same expectations, and our administrators, and also the client. We wanted to make sure to communicate with them that we were going to deliver something amazing, but that it was going to feel a little messy, and we were going to protect them from that as much as possible, but we wanted to make sure their expectations were in line. And this idea of finding the right people to be involved was another huge lesson. We wanted to solicit buy-in from the right people in each department. We wanted to identify the faculty members that would be okay with this messiness and that would be okay with very broadly defined learning outcomes without really knowing how the project was actually going to unfold. So finding those people, as Kelly mentioned, the ones who were willing to work and collaborate and be open to this process, was a really important lesson that we learned.
And as well as embracing risk. There was a lot of risk in this project, and I think we probably took on more than we bargained for, but what you get out of that is a really big, successful project. So
how can we share this? As we discussed yesterday with this idea of plus B, we think there are ways that we could take some of the lessons we learned and also some of the tools we developed and share them in some sort of open space with access for all ACAD members, knowing that we cannot take a template for this and replicate it across all member schools, but maybe we could take some of those tools and make them available so that each institution could customize the project management tools or the budget tools for whatever worked within your institution. Possibly we could share projects. Yesterday we heard about Ethan's idea, and I just saw Mike Compton walk in. We've talked a lot about this idea of sharing projects across all different ACAD member schools. Is there a way that we can do this in a really compelling way and support each other? Maybe there's room for ACAD to even choose a product, like, I don't know, duct tape, and find a way to partner with duct tape and allow all of our member schools to dream up interesting things to do with this. I'm envisioning duct tape chairs and duct tape furniture and garments made out of this material, right? So maybe there's some way to inspire a bit of competition among the schools toward a collective end result that centers around one particular type of product. And maybe there's even room to share our students. Our students, it is, it's petrifying. Our students had this fantastic experience, and maybe there's a way to build a collaborative project that students from all different schools could participate in. Maybe they come to Columbus, maybe they go to Chicago. Maybe there's a way to envision a project that could be truly collaborative in nature with credit transferring easily and all these shared experiences happening in a really compelling way.
So embracing fear, I think, was a big learning goal for us, and we're really excited to talk further about these ideas about sharing students. I mean, Elaine mentioned, bringing students on our campus. Airstream worked because Airstream is close to Columbus, but, maybe there's another iconic brand around your campus that you could think of connecting with. So, thank you. Good talk.